Hello and welcome to Road Trip Guys. Today we're going to talk about the best place in LA to see the stars.
And we mean the real stars.
And that place is Griffith Observatory.
Are we also going to talk about that really interesting thing?
I think we're going to have to. Located about 10 miles northwest of downtown LA, in Griffith Park, Griffith Observatory sits high on Mount Hollywood and is called Southern California's gateway to the cosmos. Before we talk about the observatory, let's talk a little bit about the park and its colorful benefactor. Griffith Park was named after Griffith J. Griffith, who was born in Wales in 1850 and came to California as a teenager. He made his fortune in Mexican silver mines and then later Los Angeles real estate.
Now get to the good part.
In a minute. In 1882, part of his real estate holdings expanded to include 4,000 acres of Rancho Los Feliz. After touring Europe and seeing some of the great public parks there, he decided Los Angeles would need a great park in order to become a great city, something like Golden Gate Park in San Francisco or Central Park in New York. So in 1896, Griffith donated 3,015 acres to the city of Los Angeles to create a park, with the park named after himself, of course.
Okay, get to the good part.
Okay. Well, things seemed to be going pretty well for our friend Griffith J. Griffith, until one day in September of 1903, while vacationing with his family at the Arcadia Hotel in Santa Monica, he shot his wife.
In the face.
On purpose. Well, that was a surprise, wasn't it? It seems that while most people at the time thought Griffith was a teetotaler, poor old Griffith was in fact a paranoid alcoholic who drank up to 2 quarts of whiskey a day.
That's half a gallon.
He suffered from delusions that the Pope, his wife, or both, were trying to poison him. After spending much of their vacation switching coffee cups and plates to avoid the imaginary poison, eventually things came to a head. According to his wife's later testimony,
he told me to take my prayer book and get down on my knees, and that he had some questions to ask me.
As his wife was desperately swearing she didn't try to poison him, Griffith opened fire. She turned her head just as the shot rang out and caught the bullet in the eye.
Ah! You shot me in the face!
Surviving this attack, she jumped out the window and was pulled to safety by the owners of the hotel.
The owners of the hotel then called the sheriff.
At first, Griffith claimed it was an accident, but it soon became pretty clear what really happened. As the sheriff went to arrest him, he followed him from bar to bar for 10 hours. Griffith eventually stood trial and was charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to commit murder. His wife had lost an eye in the shooting and testified in court from behind a veil. Griffith was convicted of the lesser charge, assault with a deadly weapon. The judge sentenced him to 2 years in San Quentin State Prison, instructing that he be given medical aid for his condition of alcoholic insanity. Oh, his wife also sued for divorce on grounds of cruelty.
Was she granted the divorce?
She was granted the divorce in about 5 minutes.
Wow. That was probably the fastest divorce in LA history.
Mm-hmm. Later in life, in what was probably an attempt to rehabilitate his shattered reputation, Griffith offered another gift to the city of Los Angeles in the form of a Greek theater and Hall of Science to be built at his expense in Griffith Park. The Park Commission didn't want anything to do with it and even instituted a court action to block the donation. Eventually, Griffith put the gift in his will and the city accepted it after he was dead. Oh, one more thing about Griffith J. Griffith. Apparently he liked to be called Colonel, although there are no records of him ever serving in the military. Well, despite Griffith's reputation and somewhat scandalous life, he left a great gift to the city of Los Angeles and the world. His objective was to make astronomy accessible to the public. In the end, with the help of a lot of dedicated people, and his money of course, the original vision was brought to life long after he was gone. completely renovated and expanded in 2006. There's so much to do and see at Griffith Observatory we couldn't possibly include everything. Here are some of our favorites. Even before you walk in the observatory, outside you'll find a model of the solar system showing the planet's orbits in scale, the Astronomer's Monument and Sundial, a large sculpture that pays homage to 6 of the greatest astronomers of all time. At 1,134 feet above sea level, Griffith Observatory has unparalleled views of downtown LA, Hollywood, the Hollywood sign, and much more. There's a day telescope designed for observing the sun, and a night telescope designed for observing the stars. And surrounding the whole observatory is a wide range of hiking trails. Once inside the observatory, you will find that right as you walk in, you can't help but notice the pendulum, designed to demonstrate the rotation of the Earth. And don't miss the planetarium, undoubtedly one of the finest planetariums in the world. You can also see accurate models of all 8 planets, sorry Pluto, with scales to show you how much you would weigh on each planet. On Jupiter, I'd weigh over 600 pounds.
Wow, you need to go on a diet.
Do I?
No.
The museum also includes the largest astronomically accurate image ever constructed, 152 feet long by 20 feet high. It's called The Big Picture. And of course, this is where you'll find the new Leonard Nimoy Theater. The museum is free, but of course, this is California, and you'll have to pay for parking. Parking is also very limited. The observatory is on a hilltop after all, so try to get there early or during the week, and you may still have to hike from your car. You'll need a ticket for the planetarium show, and unless you're a member, you can't make a reservation ahead of time. It's a good idea to make the ticket office your first stop. The planetarium show does have a fee. It's a great story, isn't it?
That was a great story.
You look under the surface and you always find these interesting nuggets of history. While Griffith J. Griffith was in many ways a successful man,
in other ways, he was a flawed human being just like the rest of us.
And that makes for an interesting story. So if you're in LA, make sure you don't miss Griffith Observatory. Newton, go find subscribers. Good boy.